அடுத்ததாக மிஸ்டர் முரளி ஸ்ரீநாராயணதாஸ் அவர்களை நான் அன்போடு பேச அழைக்கிறேன். கம்ப்யூடெக் காலேஜ் கனடாவில் இருக்கக்கூடிய அதனுடைய சிஇஓவாக இருக்கிறார். அவரை நான் அன்போடு பேச அழைக்கிறேன். அதற்கு பிறகு ஐயா பேசுங்க.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, vanakkam. Thank you everyone, and thank you to the organizers, N.Kumar, for organizing this wonderful conference. It is very interesting to hear all the respected colleagues sharing their input and discussions about what the future of education looks like. And for me at Computek College and just generally in terms of education, I echo the sentiments of many of the individuals talking about education and how it can help and how it is essential for us in society. But there is a very big concern I have in terms of the education and educational institutions. I'm not too familiar with some of the other countries and the potential student population, but I can speak to the North American market. And in North America, particularly in Canada and I guess in the US as well, but many of the individuals that are seeking education, the environment that they're in, the educational cost doesn't match to the opportunities that are available once they complete their programs. And what you see is a rise in entrepreneurship, a rise in these online opportunities. And programs like Udemy, Coursera, even online education platforms or online segments on YouTube are becoming more and more popular, and due to the costs and due to the perception of lack of opportunities by going through university, there has been a surge to that kind of learning. So I'm very happy to hear that many of the respected chancellors and vice chancellors have been looking at that, speaking about the fourth and fifth revolution and looking at opportunities. There are some great organizations that I believe are addressing this very well. One organization is called Sama Source. Sama Source is a organization that looks at developing nations and helping them get into the IT sector. That is looking at entry-level opportunities into IT, whereby they can become successful and then accelerate into higher opportunities in IT. And one of the gentlemen spoke about the lack of accessibility for those people in the village areas or remote areas of various countries, and this is a huge concern. Also, even within the city, depending on your socioeconomic standing, you may have huge accessibility issues. For us at Computek, many of the family members now are all online learning. The children, the spouse. So one family might have 1 or 2 laptops, but 5 members need to be online to do the education. So how do they go about doing that? So even within the city, accessibility is an issue. So I believe organizations like Sama Source, another organization that is doing fantastic work is Andela. And this speaks to the future of educational opportunities. Cost is a major factor, and what is the return on investment? What is the ROI for the student? Some educational institutions here in Canada, and I know in the US as well, offer free education and only to be paid once the student gets for example, one institution here, only when the student gets a job that is $50,000 or more will they be required to pay their tuition. So if they don't get that job opportunity that is 50,000 or more, their education is free. A second model, and this is the model that Andela uses, which I believe is a strong model for us, is corporations will support the education of the student. So they will pay the student to educate. Andela is based in Africa, and many of the student population there feel, why should I go into an education that I'm not going to get any income because I need to support my family? Why should I go into an education and study for 1 year with no income? So they just go to work. But the Andela model pays the person to study by doing basic entry-level work for the corporation. So the corporation can see the work ethic, the capacity of that individual, and if they like them, they can continue to invest in them and get their work done. So it's a very interesting model, and in my view, it is the future of education. I think, another gentleman spoke about the huge capacity of our Tamil within our Tamil community, of many of our members in corporations, alumni. If you look at all the Microsoft, all these major corporations, the CEOs or CFOs are Tamil. So we have a easy opportunity, that will say low-hanging fruit, to tap into this and provide educational opportunities for the student. And I'm talking about that pay the student opportunity. I will cut it short by saying just a few things, few last points. BBC just released a documentary or paper on the aging population, worldwide aging population, reduction on new births. There's going to be a huge surge in aging population. Many of the young people are going to have to pay for those services. Where do we go with that? Computek, I was part of a research paper with the Royal Bank of Canada discussing the future of work. Due to IT, we identified that there are some opportunities in healthcare. AI, all of these things are coming, but there is still that critical learning element. And many of the colleagues talked about that critical thinking. Everyone is focusing on STEM, but there's also STEAM, and STEAM, the A being the arts. I echo the sentiments of the colleague earlier with the law background. I myself have a legal background as well, so please excuse the bias. But with things that are happening in the world, there is a huge need for civic engagement, right? And that education, how do we create that civic engagement? It is valuable, comes from education in law or those kinds of social services. There's a rise in mental health, huge concerns, especially during this time of COVID. Food shortage, water shortage, these are all very key areas of education that I think many of the chancellors, vice chancellors, I respectfully, can consider in future education opportunities. I think this is a very excellent conference, and there's, in Computek, as we're a Canadian institution, my father studied engineering, my mother studied nursing, both in the UK. They came to Canada, and their qualifications were not, accepted. So they had to re-educate. I have a physician who studied in the UK, practiced for 5 years, who came here and then was working in a grocery store because their education opportunities their education wasn't accepted. I think that is a shame. That is a mental torture for a lot of the immigrants that come to Canada, and we are very much focused on that at Computek College. with all of these people coming from New Guinea to Canada, all over the world, I think there is a great opportunity for us to have this educational standard where we don't treat our graduates like that in different countries. They have the capability, they are willing to work, and we should support that. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I have a great respect for all of you. I hope that we have an opportunity to work together in the future. Education is the key, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you, Selvakumar and all those people involved in this for putting this together. Thank you. Vanakkam.